All right. So a lot has been happening in Parliament. The minority leader was almost hauled to Privileges Committee. Let me tell you how that started. Watch this.
If, as a speaker, the text of my concerns reflected so, it is hereby accordingly withdrawn. And, Mr. Speaker, as colleagues, when a member feels strongly about a statement which is unintended, the right thing to do is to withdraw and apologize to him. Mr. Speaker, I proceed to do so and to assure him that concerns that would arise out of any matter shall be properly be brought to his attention. But on this matter, as I've said before, I will repeat it for Hansa, that anything related to him or his ministry is withdrawn. And again, apologies to him.
It is painful to be wrongly accused or your action to be misconstrued and be labeled differently from the intention that you have, especially when it's connoted with criminality and heavy wrongdoing. I will be the first to always say that fight for the right thing to be done. Make sure that wrong things are not done. But let's not do it as though we intend to destroy each other. I am heavily hurt and heavily worried. But who am I to say that I'm going to play God and I will not accept it? I accept it wholeheartedly, and I pray that this guides all of us, myself, the hardworking service commanders that I have, the hardworking staff at the ministry, for us to continue to do the right thing, and to also assure the minority leader and the minority and the whole House that if there are anything that they think needs our attention, we'll be more than happy to look at them and address them. But I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, because even if we go to privileges and a member that you are referring to privileges goes there to say that I'm sorry for all that I've said, it ends the matter. My only plea, Mr. Speaker, is that if it is possible to expound that from our records, and if the debate or the comment made yesterday in any way was also hardship and the House decided that both or all that should be expanded, I think that may do all of us a lot of good.
I would order that the referrer to the Privileges and Immunities Committee for examination, inquiry, and reports is accordingly withdrawn. I will further direct that those words complained about said by the minority leader and complained about by the minority leader is accordingly ordered to be expunged from the record as if it does not exist. By so doing, the matter is put to rest.
Right, so by now you know why the minority leader is making apologizing and the interior minister as well accepting. I'll start with you, Solomon.
You start with, oh, that's
I'll start with you, Solomon, fine. Yeah. I mean, that's what happened in Parliament. Beautiful, democracy, or it's just business as usual?
So, for me, it's a big blow to Muntaka, the Minister for Interior, because you see, that apology does not wipe. If you listen to the text of Afenyo, he said if the statement he made was received with bad taste, then he is apologizing. From where I sit, it does not necessarily mean that he is admitting that he lied. He said, what I said, if it pains you, that I'm apologizing. It doesn't mean that he feels he lied. He should have said, I lied. for saying that the app or the technology you are deploying is a scam and it is bringing financial burden to those that are undergoing recruit.
But Solomon, if you say this, then why would people even go to court?
No,
Because people go to court because they're very convinced that the fact that they're going to court would amount to certain redress.
Yes.
So if he said that in Parliament, feeling so strong about it, and then says that he withdraws because he didn't think that it was going to hurt him, what more are you asking for?
You see, I can say, now for purposes of this education.
No, use another person.
I can say, oh, Dr. Zato.
Not me. You use it. Why me? Why? Am I or you people?
It's okay. No, in fact, you're the best person to be used because you are the most neutral person here.
Okay. And you are friends.
Yeah.
I can say, Dr. Zato,
closest of friends.
you are mad.
You see?
You understand?
I knew where he was going with this.
If I say, Dr. Zato, you are mad, and Dr. Zato feels strongly about it because he also has family, and comes back to me and say that, though I know I'm mad, how you put it wasn't right. So I'm apologizing for using the word mad. Probably I should have used another word. It does not mean that I still do not insist that he's mad. But rather, what Zato should have asked me to do is to say that, I apologize for saying you are mad because I'm not mad. I don't know whether you are getting what I'm saying. So for me, for not coming out boldly to apologize for lying is problematic. Because in the near future, how he put it, he can easily meander his way out of it and say that, look, I only apologize to the test I used. That if I caused any pain, that was what I was apologizing, and not the substance of the matter. Now, you see, I knew the Privileges Committee, even if I had gone there, it would not get to anywhere. Remember, on the 27th of November 2025, the same Afenyo-Markin was referred to the Privileges Committee. You remember that?
Remind me. What for?
When Parliament, by a resolution, has said that he did not deserve to go back to the ECOWAS Parliament. In fact, his position had been revoked, and that a new person had been nominated to represent Ghana at the ECOWAS Parliament.
A new person being nominated does not amount that he doesn't deserve.
No, but
use the words right.
Yeah, so okay, you can for lack of better word, but at the end of the day, there was a resolution that he did not need to go back to the ECOWAS Parliament.
Yeah.
When they went to ECOWAS Parliament, he was sitting there, flouting the resolution of Parliament with impunity. The Speaker was so furious. The majority side they were so furious to the extent that they couldn't hold themselves. And they told us, they told you and I, remember the Parliament that they sit, they are representing us, that he had been referred to the Privileges Committee. You remember that now? You remember this incident? What happened? What came out of it?
But that's the duty of Privileges Committee.
No, what came out? We have not even finished with the first one. I say you are referring back to that. So you see, they are only playing to our emotions and intelligence. Remember when they destroyed tables and chairs during the vetting? Something that they use you and I, our taxes, to pay for. Speaker said, oh, let's conduct an investigation into it. At the end of the day, those that are found culpable will be, their salaries will be deducted to pay for the destroyed items. What came out of it?
Nothing.
When Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was elected as a flag bearer, the minority in Parliament visited him at his house. On that occasion, I listened to the minority leader, Afenyo-Markin, and I got frightened. And I said, in the coming days will be so interesting. When he grabbed the microphone and started speaking, Afenyo told us that the entire 2025, the minority grouping in Parliament did not have any vision, no strategy, and that they were doing anything anyhow. And that he was very happy that now they have a flag bearer who will be the anchorage or the anchor person, the point of reference, who will be directing how the minority behaves in Parliament. So I am not surprised that he has to eat back his own words, because now he is implementing the strategy of the flag bearer, as he has promised us. But the parliamentarians must understand that they are not in Parliament representing their political parties. I keep saying it. We are still preparing our brief to go to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation as to whether or not when parliamentarians find themselves in parliament, they are representing the interests of their political parties or they are representing the interests of their constituents.
How are you finding this distinction in the court? How are you?
Because if they were representing the interests of we, the voters or the constituents, most of it they will come back to us, discuss issues in parliament for us to make a determination.
Constituents are not demanding for it.
They are demanding. We can't even see them. We can't find them. The MP in my constituency, Kion, the last time I saw you was sharing, what's the name? Chicken.
Chicken, yeah. It was
he used it to win election. After winning election, I can't find him. That's
Okay, recently, he indeed distributed.
He had distributed another one.
No, it was celebration. I think it was another
that will be resisted. The last time you use chicken to win an election will be the
why are your people collecting it?
But if you have impoverished the people, why wouldn't they go for chicken? But what I'm telling him is that will be resisted. You see, we must begin to let parliamentarians work in the interest of the people.
But
you cannot wait and come and give chicken.
But there have been so many bills that have been passed to laws. And it is the same members of parliament that are doing it. That's their job. At the core of it, that's the job they're supposed to do anyway.
They are supposed to pass laws and also serve as a check on the executive.
Yes.
To make sure. No, this $11.9 million that we were talking about, almost $12 million on Pwalugu, it was exposed by parliamentary, or what do you call it, a public accounts committee sitting. They are serving as a check. They must also assure the country that money that are voted, how can you pass a budget and not be following it? So you just pass the budget and allow them to go and do whatever they pleases them with the money? No. So they have to be coming back to us to seek our inputs into matters.
Okay.
What is happening now is that they go to their political parties and get their inputs and go and implement to represent the constituents.
I can't see how that will be clearly separated, but let me come to
I think he's right on that. You know, when you are voted, you need to strike that balance. First, you are in to serve the whole Ghana as a legislator. Two, you are voted by certain group of people, and their interest should be your utmost priority. And three, you also use a certain vehicle, a certain political party to go. So striking the balance is very important. And there are times when the position of your constituents conflicts with that of your party, you need to take a decision on that. But on the substantive issue, MFA, I find it very difficult discussing issues involving leadership of parliament, especially if you have a minority leader. But it is important.
What's the difficulty, Honorable?
Oh yeah, the leadership, the respect we have for leadership. But I say I find it difficult, but let me give chronology of events. You know, on February 27, when His Excellency came to the House, after his State of the Nation address, the leadership were bound to give few remarks. It was during that time that the Honorable Minority Leader raised what has now turned to be spurious allegations against the Interior Minister and the Ministry and the various security agencies about what he referred to as scam and scandal involving the recruitment. Then on Tuesday, just last Tuesday, the minister came in with his commanders to file a complaint on the floor of Parliament. The Speaker made a determination whether the complaint met threshold to be referred to Privileges Committee for further investigation. Speaker found that the complaint met all the constitutional requirements for referral to the Privileges Committee. He therefore referred the matter to the Privileges Committee. Then 24 hours later, yesterday, when we came to the chamber, the Honorable Minority Leader had to beat a retreat, withdrawing the allegations, and the Speaker therefore took a decision.
Honorable, so two ways. The Privileges Committee would have investigated and would ascertain whether or not the allegations are true. So he has apologized. The Minister for Interior also says that he wants it expunged from the records. Does this suggest to me that if the minority leader goes to do his private investigations to ascertain his initial comments and then presents it, we can still look into that matter?
I don't know what happened.
Or the apology
the
ends
fact
the
that
conversation.
the minority leader has withdrawn his allegation, I'm tempted to believe probably he doesn't have any. No, the case in Parliament, it's ended.
Okay.
And you see, my brother actually wanted action. You see, in Parliament, the issues involving leadership are quite a bit sensitive, you know, especially when you have majoritarian Parliament. One side has 2/3. Normally, experienced presiding officers, speakers, do not want to create a situation that may be misconstrued as cowing the opposition into submission. Because minority leader speaks, they say, oh, you've crossed the line, you are referred, speaks, you cross the line, those actions, then impression is created that maybe you are cowing the minority into submission. Meanwhile, that's not the case. And for our democracy to grow, you also need a vibrant opposition. So sometimes when these things happen and the leadership temper justice with mercy, it should not be misconstrued that the leadership of Parliament is weak, but for our democracy to thrive. So the one who alleges has withdrawn, and the ministry has also accepted the withdrawal in good faith. I think we should move ahead with it. But going forward, such allegations, I think, should be avoided if there is no evidence to back it, because the allegation had earlier been made in Parliament prior to 27th February. There was no response of this nature from the Honorable Interior Minister. But on 27th, you know, it was a special day, and the minority leader targeted where it will hit you most, when all eyes of the world was focusing on Parliament. He chose to repeat the allegation, and that prompted that response from the minister. So I think once
for you, what has happened
leadership
in Parliament
has taken a decision, we should move on and deal with the matter.
Okay. Dr. Zato, as citizens, as people who watch closely what happens in Parliament, of course, Parliament is a house of debate. It's the time that the majority side, of course, would advance their policies. The duty of the opposition as well is to either support or expose areas that are quite grey that we may have not seen. Whatever happened in Parliament, for Ghanaians, what should be our demand, our accountability demand?
Thank you. We could say that that apology in and of itself has clothed Parliament with some amount of glory. That apology from the minority leader to look into the eyes of the Interior Minister to say, I was wrong, expunge this, has placed Parliament favorably. It takes maturity for a leader to say, I was wrong. It takes good leadership for a leader to say, what I did, I erred, forgive me. It takes humility for a man to stand up in public and say, I got it wrong. And I have said that in this particular instance, Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin, the minority leader, has demonstrated these very, very enviable leadership qualities and skills in doing that. And I've said it here, if he continues this way, if you've seen how he has been able to champion his side, he will go down in history as one of the most consequential minority leaders in Ghana's Parliament. Just get wrong. We've seen in that house where people insist on things that they know.
Accepted the apology.
They not listen. And yes, and then I must come. That's good. That's a good point. I was glad that the Honorable Interior Minister also stood up and said, yes, I've accepted this apology. Yes, I've seen this, and that we should all expunge it because they know they have to work together. So we saw great patriots, we saw great men who stood up and told us something, and told we citizens something. That's something even in the House of Records they can get it wrong. That even a minority leader can get it wrong. But they also taught us something, that when you get it wrong, be humble enough, be strong enough, be courageous enough to stand up, beat your chest and say, I got it wrong, and move on. Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin has demonstrated that maturity and that leadership.
What's your response?
And he's moving on to other fights.
What's your response to Solomon?
Which one?
Do you recall his point?
No, I don't record it because it's always...
That's withdrawing it. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that it will hurt you.
Yes.
That's not amount to the fact that...
You see, that's what I'm saying. The man was there. The interior minister was there.
Now we all listen.
The interior minister is a student of that house. This is not his first time. He was there, he heard the apology. And he says, I accept your apology. You are coming to sit on TV to say he didn't apologize.
But one day I will use against him. I will use against him. I will use against the interior minister.
He's always out for mistake. I'm glad that nobody is listening to him on this thing. I'm glad. In fact, there's an NPC here. He was in the house yesterday.
Yeah, I was in.
He doesn't agree.
Debated.
Yes.
No. He said he was not ready to discuss leadership.
No, I don't know. It's not.
And I am saying that from where I sit, I did not see it as a problem.
Let me have...
You understand? There's one reason why I also want to believe. That's why I also want to thank the minority. Because see, the interior minister, it's Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan. Probably he was actually fasting there. And that is a month that tells good Muslims and righteous Muslims not to keep grudges, to let it go. And sometimes we have to live our faith, not just speak it. So you have Alexander Afenyo-Markin. He's a Catholic. He's Lenten, probably also fasting. So we have two men who are in the righteous and the holiest of months in their various religious calendars, who were demonstrating to us what it means to be a good Muslim and a good Christian, who were demonstrating to us good leadership, humility, and maturity, who were telling us that even in that cantankerous house, in that rigorous house, in that house of debate and records, you can still let your religious values to stand up and lead. And they told us, so those people, you see, people like Solomon, he's fasting there, he says, you, when I break my fast, I'll beat you. We are telling you not to adopt such approaches. Okay. At the end of the day, they clothed the house, Alexander Afenyo-Markin clothed the house in glory, and we have to be grateful to what he did. Thank you.
Are you going to withdraw the cantankerous? Because I just checked the meaning. Bad-tempered argument.
That is why
okay, sometimes it happens in the house. Let me say something.
What just happened now?
Okay. So let me say withdraw it so that they don't.
Okay.
Privilege.
No, but this is
okay. So let me withdraw.
Contemptuous
you can actually,
Parliament.
Yeah, you can actually be.
Oh, really?
The call Oliver was
do I need a lawyer?
Yeah, you will be needing one.
Will you help me pay for one?
What I really want to do was to not to touch on Afenyo and go back to the Pwalugu thing. I've gotten a document, and I've gotten with Kingsley to send it to you. Now, I wanted that document projected so that the whole country today, we can put this matter to rest. Pwalugu was at the VRA, Volta River Authority. Yes. Now, in the Pwalugu multi-purpose dam irrigation, I've sent it to Honorable as well. The progress report for 2020 categorically tells you every single thing that was done with that $12 million that everybody wants to talk about. So if Kingsley could spare me that 2 minutes to project that document on screen so that the whole country and stop this mischievous activity.
So first of all,
brother, please stop that. Am I talking to you?
Can't we ask you a question?
No, you can't. Let me do
I will ask you, unless you are not sitting on this table. So I'm asking you questions so that you further on your...
Let me finish.
You are speaking to a document that I don't know the source. Where is the source of this document?
The document, if it's put online, you will see that there is
Producer,
a website.
You are taking a document from a guest who has generated a document to be protected.
Brother, well, can you stop this?
Again, Kojo, okay, where do we want to land on this particular?
I wanted, because you see, there is a misconception.
There is no misconception.
Hang on.
There is no misconception.
Solomon, let me moderate this.
If he does that,
Solomon, let me moderate this.
And that's why I don't appear on the show with this guy.
It's okay.
Honestly.
No, you don't need to. So you don't need to go further. I'm saying that
you are calling me this guy. What is that? What is the meaning?
VRA.
What is the meaning? No, first of all, you must explain.
Please.
What is the meaning of this guy?
I'm addressing him, Ifa.
No. Let's clear that one. Let's clear that one. What is the meaning of this guy?
Ifa, VRA has a website. Multi-purpose dam Pwalugu, there's a website for it. Right? There's a website. And on that website, if you go to the Pwalugu, if anybody cares to go to the site, the website, if you type Pwalugu multi-purpose dam project, there's a website. That website has that document which I have just shared with everybody on this platform. The document is called the Pwalugu multi-purpose dam and irrigation project. And is the progress report for 2020. That document, which I've shared with you, MFA, and with Honorable, stipulates and tells you everything that VRA did till the time when they say that the project, and in fact, it gives drawings, state documents, and all the companies that were paid money. I want there to be an end to this mischievous run.
There is no end.
No,
Hold on.
Please go to page 6.
So now we are being, your production is being done by Kojopoku here.
No.
Your production is being done by Kojopoku here. What are we talking about here?
No, Solomon.
What are we talking about here?
I've been asking questions.
No, nobody.
And I'm not getting answers.
What answers is
it? But this document is public.
This document.
So what are we discussing?
We need to educate.
That's what I'm saying. I want to ask questions.
Page 6. Go to page 6 where it talks about the.
You have the document.
The next.
I don't have the document.
The page before.
So
the page before
you are doing the program among
the
yourself.
page before this.
I will not take it here.
The page
You
before
said
this page 5. Right? And this document can be accessed online. Thank you. It tells you the site, the permits that were gotten, the ESIA, the environmental social impact.
Yeah. What are the amounts?
That's
where we are coming.
Yes. Yeah. All these things were done. It's in the custody of VRE.
Yeah.
And this document, this whole project was under VRE.
Yeah.
So if anybody has problems with the $12 million...
This was done by who?
VRE. Was under VRE.
You're talking about the... We are talking about the power China.
Pwalugu. So this waste of time. And you decide to project this...
Let's move on.
No, let's stay there. Let's stay there. No, let's stay there. No, let's stay there. No, bring it back. Bring it back. Stop, bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
This is part of the feasibility.
Absolutely.
And the 12 million.
You get document, you can't even your own document.
No.
Power China.
No.
Check the document.
If you read the document, it will tell you that.
Tell me, where is the 12 million in this document?
Bro.
Where's the 12 million?
Everything will calm down.
No, feasibility studies. And the 12 million paid to the Power China is the one we are talking about.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Until today.
Yes.
Everybody, my brother, I'm talking to Honorable.
Oh, yes.
Please. I beg. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Honorable. Everybody wants to make it look like the Pwalugu Dam was a facade. The Pwalugu Dam was a myth. Pwalugu Dam was some money spent with nothing done. Today, I'm telling the whole country that there is a website for Pwalugu Dam and PRE, where when you go there, it will tell you all the contractors that worked on the Pwalugu Dam, all monies that were given to them. It actually tells you the certificates they raised to GOG for payments. So that is where, if anybody wants to go and verify the 12 million, should go to. Simple.
No,
okay.
But this document,
let me ask questions.
It doesn't speak to anything. It doesn't say anything. It is a total waste. It's a total waste of our time.
What I want to do is break down this to the barest minimum.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that
we have $12 million to explain for, right?
Yes.
Currently, the government says that this was what was advanced for what?
The mobilization.
Mobilization construction. At a casual look at this, could you, if I understand, this document helps us to understand how the 12 million was expended.
The work that was done.
The work that was done.
Listen, I keep explaining that the reason the construction was not done is that the $993 million that was to be advanced by the Chinese government was not advanced.
Yes.
That's why the dam was not built. But it doesn't stop the fact that VRE, who was the government representative who was supervising the Pwalugu Dam, did a lot of work.
So the $12 million is for that work. We need to know.
That 12 million that people keep saying that it is a myth. Today, I want to tell everybody that when you go to the Pwalugu Multipurpose Dam website, this document I have shared is on there.
Explain the $12 million.
Yes.
But this doesn't go to the executive summary.
That's what I'm saying.
This is funding. This work done is funding. VRE is sourced from Agence Française de Développement.
Absolutely.
It's not part of the
I have read this document into two.
It's not the 12
I'm very surprised.
This 12 million was not paid to VRE. It was paid to Power China.
But Power China is part of this project.
Why you keep confusing us? I said you shouldn't speak your matter.
Let's move on.
You move on. You said you bring it.
You want to spend your whole time on that.
But you brought it back by running away.
But let me be clear. I know my big brother Kojo. I've met him at events. When it comes to energy matters, he's on top of his brief. But this morning, I'm surprised he's changing it with politics. If you meet him at different platform and he's talking about energy, he's a different person. When it comes to this political show, I was having a conversation with him. I've heard him over and over as a consultant, many international fora, that for us to have our energy security, reliable power, there should be payment of realistic tariffs. But when it comes on this show, it's a different bug. He says different things. So
I don't. The problem I'm trying to explain is that you see,
so you know very well.
I leave these things day by day, please. I leave these things day by day.
But when you are talking, you think you are expert views in politics.
No, it's not. I don't like when people try to make it look like there is 12 million cities, $12 million of government money that just vanished.
Power China.
It vanished. In fact, your document speaks to it. It has vanished.
No, but brother,
commiserate with the work done on the ground.
No, but that is the point. You are saying
commiserate with the work done on the ground.
Listen, you would agree that when we do politics with these things, everybody out there thinks that there was 12 million for Pwalugu and it was not built. When the intellectuals and you and I know that to build that dam, we needed $900 million.
Well, nobody said...
No, please, let's educate. You see, my problem to come here, that's why I come. If it was left to some people, I won't come here. But I come because I want to educate the public. What I'm saying is that the public needs to know that the Pwalugu dam was not to cost 12 million. So when somebody says that 12 million is spent and there's nothing to show for, hold on.
But I hope you give me time to speak, because I will not sit here and be taking on seriousness from him. Look, I can be so rough if you want to be bossy here, because nobody talks when we are speaking.
We're all looking for
you cannot be riding the high horses.
No, I personally is looking for answers.
What are we talking? You have not provided. You brought a document that does not speak to anything, and so you are.
So Kojo says that
you are misinforming the people.
So Kojo says that directly or indirectly, this document explains how.
How does he explain it? You yourself.
Have you read it?
You have seen. Casually look at it does not suggest directly to me.
Tell him. Tell him.
No, that's why I said directly.
Tell him.
It does not allocate figures.
What are we talking about here?
For me, I don't see that particularly in this document. But he tells me that it gives you an idea, or it tells you that the money didn't just vanish. This document
leads from VRA. What VRA did, not what
but
Power China did.
Bro, but
there are two different
activities. Let me read.
Power China is supposed to construct
to the EPC contractor. Who's the EPC contractor?
But Honorable, in Parliament, do we not have this? How this 12 million was used?
Yeah, that is why it is under investigation.
No, it is in Parliament. You see, it's in your budget allocation.
The status of this is that this is under investigation. We've ordered for...
The audited reports are there.
What report?
The audited 2019, 2020 audited reports are there. The audited reports are there.
But let me tell you...
Has it come to pass?
Don't we have audited reports on the 13th African Games?
Okay.
There are audited reports on certain expenditures.
Let's stop.
Okay,
but the point is, we are not satisfied with those reports. That's why, in some instances, forensic audits have been.
The doctors have to have you.
I'm going to send a copy to you.
Solomon, you have read this document if you don't.
I read it in the past, not
the past.
He has not read it in the past, Biobwa.
No, Kojo Poku has no... You people have been called expert on energy matters. He is not an expert in energy matters. Take it from me. You see, we give people...
Why would I...
No. What is expert about you in energy matters?
But we're not discussing energy.
But that is what... Look, he wants to tell us that he is in the field. What field? What is his background? Look, when we come here and we are speaking to data, we are all relying on the data that has been provided. I can understand his difficulty, because his flag bearer went ahead of himself to assure the entire country that the single most important project that they had done was the Pwalugu Dam. That is the subject matter, or that was the subject matter we were discussing. So in trying to confuse your viewers, he tried to throw in all sort of things that would not bring the issues out. That's what we are doing.
The Public Accounts Committee's duty really to cure this kind of excesses.
But they flagged the issue up.
When the Bank of Ghana
he couldn't explain it. He couldn't explain it. So what is he talking about here? Okay. And that is what I sought to do. I said that $12 million was given to a contractor to construct the Pwalugu Dam. It will be part of the construction. Yes. Because you have to start from point 1 to get to point 100. So if you don't start from point 1, how do you get to point 100? Even with a point 1, that money couldn't do what it was supposed to do. And I was asking or urging this government to go after those that took the money and did not do it. For instance, if you read the contract, they are supposed to provide a guarantee for this mobilization. So if they fail to do their work, the reasonable thing is to call on the guarantee. Why haven't you called on the guarantee? A similar situation happened between Pwalugu and Walwale, where we gave an Indian contractor 29
But his argument is that they have not failed. to do anything, so they won't call the guarantee. Says that there is feasible way to check how this.
The people in Pwalugu will be so disappointed when you go there. There is nothing that.
What's the state of it?
Team? What are we talking about?
Like I said, I
visit the site, have documentary, and see what has been done on the site. The site is
but
there.
what can be done on the site when you need $900 million and you did not get?
We are talking about Pwalugu.
Someone can do it. How much did you think the ESIA is? How much do you think
$12 million
environmental assessment?
Yes,
that's the problem. The document didn't state how much.
No, it doesn't. But my point is that you see,
he said he was nailing the matter once and for all. He didn't provide any documents.
When money
and he wants to ride on a high horse here.
When monies are spent and it's not clearly itemized,
yes,
and it's not clearly documented, it's picked up by the internal auditor. That's why it comes at PAC. Anytime you see something at PAC, when the auditor comes in and there are discrepancies in terms of document proof and all that, right? That means the expenditure has question mark. So then they flag it and bring it to PAC. Have we seen Pwalugu at PAC? We have not. Because that money was spent and there is no question mark. My point is that the NDC have been in power. Let me finish. The NDC has been in power for
Yes.
In 2020, we are in 2026. 2025 was done last year. What are you talking about? We are in 2026.
I'm talking about
the 2025, the 2021, 2022 audit has been done a long time ago. If it was the subject, it would have come up at PAC. Okay. What I'm saying is that Arthur Forson have sat in the Ministry of Finance for 14 months. If there was a problem that he feels that there is money misappropriated, don't you think they will be the first people to put it at? They are trying to talk about SML.
You are bundling everything.
No, I'm not. What I'm trying to say is...
he introduces new documents. The document is any 12 million, then he moves to another sector, and he will tell you that. But
our breakfast this morning has come to an end.
That's fine.
Right. Dr. Zato, you said you didn't have the documents. You've already
called.
You've also asked a few things from the government and told us what that.
Zato, he's very interested in the project.
Absolutely.
You know, the project can provide 25 hectares irrigation.
He was there when they were dealing with the money. He never told the MPP government.
Bagri Dam.
And that is what. Dr. Zato, thank you.
When they were in power, he never told his government to do it.
Thank you so much.
We're
wrapping the review segment. Master Planner Junior Policy Analyst Kintampo says that Afenyo-Markin withdrawing and apologizing based on those comments is a sign of good leadership. On the other hand, I think he should go beyond the apology and prove his point, which I believe there is. He should work with his research team and bring out evidence to those allegations regards to Dr. Zato. I like his calm. Hey, Dr. Zato, they say regards to you. They like their calmness and when the others are speaking. Master Planner Junior. Well, yeah. To where? He's coming where?
Sisala East.
Sisala East. Where? What are you going to do there?
MPP primaries is going to...
Anyway.
I don't know where you were. What did they ask?
You are now abandoning...
Dr. Honorable Dixon Cherdia is Member of Parliament for Recruitments. Kojo Poku is Executive Director of the ASTEP and member of the NPP Communications team. And Solomon Owusu is Communications Director at UP. Joshua Zato, Dr. Joshua Zato is political scientist and policy analyst.